Welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Tuesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go up to Queensland in particular and go to the team that's currently undefeated at the moment in the Queensland State League competition. Of course, that is the Logan Thunder. And of course, we've got a very special guest on the show. Of course, her name is Mikaela. She joins us right now. Thanks, Mikaela, for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No worries. Well, last weekend, I should say, of course, the Thunder played Brisbane and you beat them pretty easily at the end. I guess tell us a bit about the game.
I mean, coming into every game, we just try and work on just playing our best and getting better week in and week out. And we knew that Brisbane hadn't played any of the top competition yet in the league, so we were pretty confident that we could beat them, and then we were able to.
Now, considering, I guess, at the time it was the top two teams in the competition,
Yep.
Were you surprised the way that you just completely dominated them?
I guess a little bit. I think our team, we've had some struggles throughout the start of the season of like not being consistent for the whole game, and I think last week and maybe the week before, we put together 4 quarters of good basketball, and I think that helped us get such a big lead on them. It wasn't just like 1 quarter or 2 quarters of really good basketball. It was 4 quarters of good defense, locked in, doing the right stuff, and I think that's why
Now this week, of course, you're on the road again. I don't think you played a home game well either. You're going down to the Gold Coast this time to North Gold Coast Seahawks. I guess how's the preparations like going to a game that obviously was a little bit further down the ladder than your opponents last week?
Well, I think the main focus for us is just on ourselves. We have to keep getting better each week, and I think that's what we've done a really good job of throughout training, throughout the season, is just not worrying about who we're playing, but making sure that we're improving on the things that we haven't done well. So I think that's what we're going to continue to look to do this week, is just improving on our execution, our defensive effort, and the things that we can get better at, so that in the end it'll help us hopefully win the championship.
Now, so far, I think, the team's only played 6 games of the shortened season so far. I guess for you in particular, how have you found it, considering obviously with COVID and with the big break, and then now you finally got into some sort of season? How have you and the team found, starting the season pretty late?
Well, I think obviously not just for me, but for everyone who's playing at the moment, must have been super rusty coming off the big, long COVID break. But I think as each week goes on, I feel myself getting into better shape, and I feel my skills and stuff just getting back to where they were. So it's been good being able to, even though it's a shortened season and it's not as good of a competition as if we were playing NBL 1 or whatever, it's still good to get back and play basketball, just to shake the rust off, get back in shape, and hopefully get myself ready for the WNBL season.
What did you sort of do to sort of prepare yourself for this current season, and were you optimistic that you were going to get a season at all?
I guess when they first canceled the NBL 1 season, I didn't think anything was going to happen. But then I heard rumors about, maybe like Southern Queensland League happening. So, I always tried to stay in shape. I knew that WNBL was going to happen no matter what. So even during the lockdown and all that stuff, I was doing what I could to stay in shape and work out at home. But obviously not being able to get into gyms or anything like that, it's much harder. So once the courts and everything opened back up, it was a bit easier to get in and shoot. But like I said, I was super rusty to start with. So having this league happen has just been really good, I think, for me getting back into shape and getting ready to go.
Of course, we'll be speaking to one of your teammates, Ash, about the same thing in just a moment, of course, a little bit later on. But tell us how special is it to play alongside Ash?
You know what? I love the Logan team. last year was my first year playing here, and I really, really enjoyed it. And the girls, everyone on the team is amazing. We've added a couple of new girls this year that weren't on our team last year, but for the most part, we have the big core of our returners coming back this year. And I think that's part of the reason why I want to come back and play here every year, is that, that we have such good camaraderie on and off the court. And I think we gel really well on the court, and it's just fun to play with this group. I really like playing with Ash. I like playing with Mick. I like playing with even the young girls. Like I get annoyed with them sometimes because their effort is inconsistent at times, but I mean, they're great kids and great people to be around.
Now, you mentioned about the young kids just then. I guess,
Yeah.
is there some of the young kids we should watch out for in the future, coming out of Logan, maybe into a WNBL team in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think maybe they're pretty young. I think they're 17, 18 at the moment. But Danny Bays, she is a really great shooter, really great scorer. She's been playing amazing, for the junior rep ball and everything like that. And then Lisa and Mary, the twins, if they could consistently try hard and put in the effort all the time. I mean, they push me around all the time at practice. So they're both really, really good players. And if they really stuck their mind to it, they could become good WNBL players.
Now, you mentioned about NBL 1. That was meant to happen first year. It was meant to happen this year for the NBL 1 Queensland / the North Conference. I guess, how good was that to know before it all got shut down this year because of COVID? How good was it for the Queensland competition to be part of the major national competition?
I think it was really good because last year I thought was my first year playing in QBL, and I thought it was a good competition. And I thought playing in other parts of the country, Queensland, I don't think gets the recognition it deserves for how good the competition is up here. So I thought, being on the national stage, having all the games live streamed, it would really help, show the rest of the country that Queensland basketball is good. And so I think, moving forward next year and everything like that, I think people will really be able to see that it's good competition up here. And I mean, why not come to Queensland in the winter? It's a good place to be.
I completely agree with that. Now, you mentioned about the preparation for the WNBL. Obviously, I'm assuming it's going to be a reasonably quick turnaround between seasons. I guess, is that good in regards to, you would have just finished playing for the Queensland State League competition and then obviously go straight into WNBL?
Yeah. I mean, it's good for me, I guess, because I'm already starting to get in shape. I think it might be tough for some other players, especially the Victoria players that, aren't able to do much at the moment. So, I mean, it can be good and bad. I just hope that, there's enough time for everyone to do the proper preparation and get ready for the season so that we don't have a lot of injuries, because no one wants that.
Now for you, Mikaela, how did basketball start and why did you choose it?
Oh gosh. I guess I started as a kid. I got my first basketball when I was 5 for Christmas, and I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with it. My older brother played and I liked watching him play, and I told my dad I wanted to play. And I don't know, I guess as I started playing, I was taller than most kids, better than most kids. And so I guess when you're good at something, it makes it more fun. So I guess that's why I stuck with it. I was always pretty good at it, and I was pretty tall for my age. So I stuck with it, and I'm glad I did.
Most of our listeners and viewers that are WNBL fanatics would know that you play in a 3, 4, or 5 position. I guess, is there one position that you preferred the most?
Oh, I like being on the perimeter, so I guess the 3, but I don't mind. I like playing. So whichever position has the most minutes available, that's where I want to play, because I just want to be on the court and help the team win.
Have you thought about maybe playing in the 1 or 2 position before?
Oh, I beg the coaches all the time to let me play point guard. And sometimes, when I get the rebound, I just like to go coast to coast. Some of my teammates don't love it, but I like playmaking and things like that. So I've always wanted to play point guard, but I don't know, the coaches, they don't love it. So I play inside.
You might as well tell us a bit about your Logan coach in
Yeah.
Braden. Tell us a bit about him, and I guess tell us what you learned from playing under him.
Oh, I love Braden. I really like Braden. He's a good guy. He's a couple of years younger than me, so we're about the same age, and we have similar interests and stuff. So, not only is he like my coach, but he's a good friend of mine. So, I like playing for coaches. I like playing for young coaches because I find that they are more willing to hear feedback and work with you on what your ideas are and implement ideas from the players and things like that. So I think that that's something that Braden's really good at. He listens to suggestions that I have or other players have, and tries to implement them. So I've really enjoyed that. And playing for him, I've learned to be more aggressive, I guess, looking for my own shots and things like that. I think before coming here, I was more of a passive player. I looked to distribute the ball and be more of a playmaker and help other people score. But I think he's really helped me focus on being more aggressive and scoring and making the other team stop me before I pass it off to other players. So I've enjoyed it. He's a good coach, and he's fun to be around.
Do you have any basketball highlights?
Like as far as my career, like what highlights from? Yeah, I guess in college I played at Stanford, which was the best. I was there 5 years because I was injured a year. We went to the Final Four times, so I have to say those are pretty high up there in highlights. And then I was also drafted, which I was not expecting, to the Seattle Storm when I graduated. So that's another highlight. And then even though I didn't play last year for Canberra on the court, I was part of that WNBL championship team, on practice and stuff like that. So being a part of that has also been, a highlight. So I don't know. I hope I have more in the future to come, but it's been a pretty good career so far.
Go through your college. I was in your WNBL and WNBA. We'll start off with the college first. Played at Stanford.
Yeah.
Of course, the team made into the top four in one called March Madness over there in the States. Is there one particular game or moment in the March Madness that stands out to you the most, playing for Stanford?
Well, there was one my freshman year, my very first year in college. We made it to the championship game. We lost to UConn in the championship. So being a part of that, even though I didn't get on the court because I was a freshman, that was massive. And I think that's something that I dreamed about as a little kid, playing in the Final Four, being at the Final Four, playing in the championship game, and then having that happen my first year at college was surreal. It was like a dream come true. So that probably is the most that stood out to me.
And do you still keep in touch with any of your former college teammates at Stanford? And is there one particular player that you enjoy playing the most?
Yeah, I do still keep in touch with them. I think, when you spend that much time with people, they become more than just friends or their family. We spend 3 hours a day, every day together. So, if not more. So those girls aren't just my friends; they're definitely like my sisters. So I keep in touch with them. I think the person I love playing with the most would probably be from college. Would probably be Nneka Ogwumike. She, is a phenomenal basketball player, but she's a great person too. She was so easy to play with. You just throw it anywhere in her vicinity, and she would catch it. So I liked, as a playmaker, I loved playing with her because she'd catch everything and then finish everything. So it was an automatic assist every time I threw it to her.
Now, let's swing over to WNBA. Now, of course, you did say you credit Seattle. I guess tell us about that experience. How good is to see your former team doing so well?
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't actually call them my former team. I was drafted by them and then got cut at the end of training camp. And then I got another training camp gig a couple of years later with Los Angeles. But WNBA, it's just, I don't know, it's the best league in the world. So having the opportunity to even go to a training camp and participate in that was, I don't know, I think I learned a lot there in the few weeks that I was there. I mean, obviously, growing up in America and watching the WNBA and things like that, it's something that I aspired to do, is be drafted and play in the WNBA. So having that opportunity was amazing. And watching the season over there now, it's good to see so many players that I played with or played against doing so well over there, because it is such great competition. And I love Seattle. I think it's a great city. I spent a lot of time there, not only when I was there for training camp, but also in college we'd play up there quite a bit. And so I think it's a great organization, great team, and I think they have a really good chance of winning it all this year. So they're fun to watch.
Now let's swing into WNBL, because you played quite a few years down here in Australia in the WNBL. Obviously, you mentioned about the UC Caps championship win last year. Now, I guess throughout your WNBL journey, number one, is there a particular player that you love to play alongside with, or enjoy to play alongside with? And number two, I guess, is there one particular year that stands out to you the most while being in the WNBL?
Well, my favorite player that I played with in WNBL is definitely Mariana Tolo. She, again, similar to NECA in that she's not only a really great player, but she's a really great person to be around. And I think it's always really important when you have the best player on your team is also, a good person, because it makes the rest of the players on the team want to play well and play hard and do well for that person. So I really enjoyed playing with Tolo. Again, like NECA, you throw something close to her and she catches it and scores. So it's like an automatic assist every time you throw it to her. So yeah, I'd have to say she's probably my favorite player that I've played with so far. And then I think my favorite year, to be honest, was my first year out here in Sydney, just because, it was my first year living away from, the US. I was traveling across the world I uprooted my entire life and moved here and didn't know what to expect. And I moved, first place to go to in Australia, to live in Sydney, which you read about and see movies about and things like that. It was, I don't know, it was crazy just moving across the world and playing basketball for a living. It was so new and so amazing to me. I just really, really loved it. My first experience out here.
Now, your UC Caps teammate, obviously, Kia Nurse, obviously, she's a Yukon girl, which you would have played against her when she was, of course, when you were at Stanford and she was at Yukon. How good was it to finally get to play with her instead of playing against her?
Well, actually, Kia's quite a bit younger than I am, so we never played against each other, I don't think. I think she started the year after I finished, or if we did play against each other. I don't remember playing against her if we did, but playing with her, is awesome. Kia's an amazing shooter, amazing scorer. And so like just watching her catch fire in games was probably the most fun I think I had last season, sitting on the bench, cheering the team on. And, Kia would get this look in her eye of somebody on the other team pissed her off. And so she just threw up a shot and it went in, and then you're like, uh-oh, better watch out. And then she'd hit her next 5-6 shots. And it was amazing to see how she can just flip a switch like that. And yeah, score, I don't know, 18 points in 5 minutes. It's insane. So she was fun to watch.
Now, something I love about the WNBL, and especially the imports that come in, is that you're really, really good with interacting with the kids when they, of course, after the game, especially when you get to do signing and get to meet with the fans. Is that something that you found down here, that we're really good at that when it comes to interacting with fans?
Yeah, I think so. I think the way that clubs, interact with the fans and the kids and keep them engaged, I think it inspires kids to, pick up basketball, or if they're picking up basketball, to get serious about basketball and things like that. I remember myself as a kid and going to college basketball games in the States. And it's just so special when the players that you're out there admiring and watching, they, take time to talk to you and sign your autographs and take pictures with you. And I remember the feeling that I had as a kid when players would do that with me. So I just, as much as I can, want to do the same thing to young kids who come up to me and want a picture or an autograph or a chat, because it's special, I think, for the kids. And so as much as I loved it as a kid, I know that they're loving it as well.
And what does the sport of basketball mean to you now, and especially playing there at Logan?
Basketball has pretty much given me all the opportunities I've had in my life. I was born in Ohio, a small town in Ohio, and basketball gave me an opportunity to travel around, first of all, the U.S., and then go to school out at Stanford in California, and then after that, come here to Australia and play here. And I've also gotten the opportunity to go over and play in France. And if it wasn't for basketball, I don't think I would have done any of that. I think I still would be living in Beaver Creek, Ohio, which isn't bad. Like, that's a great life, but I love traveling the world. I love playing basketball. So, I mean, it means everything to me. It's made me the person that I am, and I love it. It's a great sport.
Now, do you have any future ambitions in the sport of basketball going forward?
I mean, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I love playing. I love waking up every day and working to get better at my game. So I just honestly want to play as long as I can, and I want my body to last as long as it can. So, I mean, I guess my ambition is just to play till I can't anymore, So as long as I'm able to.
Now, what would be your advice to our listeners and viewers out there that should get involved in basketball, especially those people up in Queensland?
I think basketball is the best sport there is. I think any way you can be involved. If you're not good at basketball, doesn't mean you can't be involved in it. I've made lots of friends with volunteers and things that just love the game and love watching the game. And then at the same time, like, I've spoken to kids who have told me that, watching me play has made them want to play. And so, I mean, I don't know. I think basketball is the greatest sport in the world. It's truly, a worldwide sport. Everyone plays it in every country. So I think if you can be a part of it, do it, because it's the best.
Now, let's finish up with a couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates. Firstly, embarrassing moments so far this season at Logan?
Oh, there was this one hilarious moment. It was actually last week in practice. Cassie Carroll, we were playing one-on-one at training, and Cassie was going against Carla. And Cassie did a jab and like a little shoulder shimmy, and Carla just like ate it, just broke her own ankles and fell over, and Cassie didn't even dribble the ball. And it was, I was on the other end, so I didn't get to see it, but the other end of the half the team was sitting there laughing at Carla for probably a good 20 minutes. And I don't know, I think it's always embarrassing to get your ankles broken. So we've been giving Carla crap for it since then, asking her every week if her ankles are taped. So that was probably one of the best moments so far.
Oh, who's the comedian in the team?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I think some of the young girls, I don't think they try to be the comedian, but Maya Entrop, she says some really dumb stuff that everyone really likes. I don't think she is purposely being funny, but she's funny because of some of the things that come out of her mouth. You're just like, what are you even thinking about in there?
Any good singers or dancers we should know about at Logan?
For dances, well, Caddy Jeffries, our assistant coach, her little son, Finn, he comes to the game sometimes, and we let him run loose at halftime, and he has some pretty good dance moves at halftime. It's pretty entertaining to watch.
Now, I'm assuming this would have been a pump-up song to hype the team up before a game. If so, who's the person who runs the playlist, and what's the worst song on it?
Typically it's Ash Taia who runs the playlist. Her music taste everyone likes. I don't know. I'd say that probably the worst song is any song that I like because everyone hates my music. And every time when we're doing warm-ups and anytime I'm enjoying the music, everyone else is hating it. So you'd have to ask them. But I think all the music is good, but everyone else hates it.
And one final one, which is, do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
I used to have a bunch of weird ones, but I think now, not really. I don't have nothing interesting. I just like to make sure that I have like 3 pairs of game socks, and if I'm not wearing one of those socks, I have to wear one of those 3 pairs of socks. Otherwise, yeah, I guess that's kind of weird, but that's about it.
Well, Mikaela, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show. One of my favourite players that plays in the WNBL, now playing in the state league as well. And can't wait to hopefully catch up with you in the WNBL season. And obviously, please send our best wishes to your teammates for us this week. And let's hope you can continue that undefeated run at the moment, currently at 6-0 at the moment.
Thanks. That's the plan. Thanks for having me.
No worries. And that's Mikaela there from the Logan Thunder. Of course, make sure to get down to the Gold Coast, of course, down at Runaway Bay this week. Of course, they play against the North Gold Coast Seahawks. Of course, this weekend, we'll put all the details up on how you can go about going down there and support the Mighty Thunder this weekend. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on Lockdown Tuesday. Welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Tuesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's continue with the Logan Thunder in particular. Of course, we just had Mikaela on the show just a moment ago. Of course, we swing over to her teammate now in Ash. And of course, she joins us right now to tell us a bit about the amazing start to the season for the Logan Thunder. They are currently undefeated at the moment after a demolishing win over Brisbane in the top of the table clash. Of course, this time around they go down to the Gold Coast this time and play against the Seahawks. And Ash joins us to tell us all about it. Thanks, Ash, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
No worries. Got to say, it's been long overdue since we last had you on the show. But let's talk a bit about this year in particular. And as I mentioned in the intro, you played Brisbane on the road in Brisbane, and obviously it was a top-of-the-table clash, but the result really showed the dominance for your team, and obviously it was a convincing win at the end.
Yeah, definitely convincing win. We just have a lot of depth in our team. All of our girls are capable of scoring points, but I think defensively is where, we control the tempo. And I think that'll take us all the way to the final and hopefully get us a championship this year.
Now, when I spoke to Mikaela a moment ago, she mentioned that obviously it was probably one of the best games the team's played all year. Obviously, that consistency throughout 4 quarters. Is that how you found it yourself?
Yeah, I think when we're not consistent, obviously it's just within ourselves and the team. It's usually when we're lacking communication and energy and stuff like that, because we all know how to play basketball. We're really high basketball IQ, talented players. It's just when we're not communicating as a team and working together, that's kind of when, like you said, we're not consistent. And we haven't lost the game yet, fortunately, but those lapses further down the stretch kind of, that could be potentially bad for us. So obviously we want to try and stay consistent with our communication and our defense and, keep putting the points up.
Now, considering it was a top 2 clash at the time, obviously now Brisbane dropped to 3rd after that loss. I guess, were you surprised the way the scoreline panned out?
Yeah, I was really surprised, especially just because of the way the media and Basketball Queensland and everything hyped it up. Like, yeah, top of the ladder, blah, blah, blah. And then we came in there and kind of, the first quarter it was like 4-25. And then we all kind of were like, oh, okay, well, this is, we're going to be good.
You mentioned all the media hype that surrounded that game, especially from Basketball Queensland and everything else that surrounded it. I guess, obviously, you shut that down pretty quickly. But obviously, that big start, I guess, was it just point on just keep driving it in and I guess keep increasing that lead as much as you could?
Yeah, I think I think it just goes back to our defense. Like they would have took as many possessions and shots as we would have, but we just, we boxed out, we defended well, we contested well, and they just couldn't hit the shots. They were making good, they were having good shots in their offense, but at the end of the day, our defense was just better, and we were able to capitalize on that and run up our points and get us going. And once we start going through the hoop and, we're playing good defense, then you pretty much can't stop us.
Now let's turn our attention to this week. Of course, another road game. Of course, you go from going north to Brisbane, now you go south to the Gold Coast to play North Gold Coast Seahawks at Runaway Bay. Tell us how's training been like, or if you've had training yet, how's that been like, and especially heading to this week's game against a team that is, I guess, a little bit further down the ladder?
Yeah, so we did have training last night, actually, and we always prepare well. We don't usually focus on the other teams as much. We don't do much scout or anything like that. We kind of just focus on what we can control. We look at how we played last weekend and where we had our lapses, and then we work on that heading into the next game. And like you said, they're obviously further down in the ladder, but we don't really, we don't come in thinking we're going to beat teams by 100 or we're going to lose. It's just if we're prepared and we play the way we know we can play, then we're gonna take down anyone.
Now, I guess this is the second or third straight road game so far this year for yourselves. I guess, are you hoping to hopefully get back on the home court very soon to play?
Yeah, we have a home game next weekend, actually, so it'll be good to get back in our own gym.
I was going to say, how have the team enjoyed at least some road games before obviously finally get back home to do some home games very soon?
Well, luckily enough, South Queensland, it's all of the associations are kind of close. It's nothing too far, 30, 40-minute drive. The furthest away for us would be Toowoomba and the Sunshine Coast, obviously. But it's not too bad. It's just like a short drive, and then, you play, and then you can come home, and you don't get home too late. So it's not as bad as if we were flying up to Townsville or Mackay or something like that,
Now, of course, this year should have been the first year of NBL 1 North Conference to have the Queensland competition join the southern states, and obviously WA is joining, South Australia is joining that as well. I guess, were you excited about the new NBL 1 competition, and especially to have, I guess, finally to see the talent that's coming out of Queensland at the national level?
Yeah, it was really exciting for us, especially at the end where we were going to have the North and South kind of playoff thing that, that was something we were looking forward to, and we were aiming to, obviously win here and then go down there and play that. But still with this season, we're preparing for next season. We'll have the same team, it'll be the same style for us. And so we're all rolling now. So we're ready for next NBL 1 season.
It's been a shorter season for the state league competition. Number one, were you optimistic that the season was going to happen at all with what's happened with COVID? And number two, how was your preparations like into at least some sort of season this year?
Yep. Earlier when we had preseason in March and April, and when we were actually preparing, we were all really fit and excited, and then everything kind of hit, and nobody really assumed that we were going to have a season this year. We kind of just assumed it would be next year. So then when we were told that there was going to be a QSL, we had 4 weeks to prepare. So that was get fit, get in shape, learn all the plays. It was kind of a little bit rushed, but at the same time, we brought back a lot of our old players from last year. So there wasn't too much learning, and it was more so just getting fit and getting ready and mentally getting prepared as well for the 3-4 months that we're getting into the season.
And how good is it to finally get back on the court to play basketball? I think you're probably one of quite a few basketball states that are still going at the moment. Obviously, there's none down here in Victoria, but how good is it at least be back on the court again?
Yeah, no, it's definitely amazing. And it is kind of like a privilege, obviously, with, everything that's going on down there. It sucks. You guys are still have all these rules you need to follow and these quarantine things and that. And up here, it's, you know, it's like back to normal. And then we're obviously allowed to be playing. We're allowed to be, you know, in the gym whenever we want to. We can, you know, just the freedom. It is a big privilege, and I definitely am grateful that, you know, we're up here and, you know, we're able to play.
Now, I asked this question to your teammate Mikaela just a moment ago, which I'm going to ask you the same question, which is how good is to play alongside Mikaela?
I love it. She's awesome. She's a really high IQ basketball player. She works really hard. Obviously, rebound crap out of the ball. You know, she's definitely a player that you want to have on your team at all times. And if, you know, if she was on the other team, it'd be tough going up against her. She's a good leader on and off the court. She's very vocal. She helps our young girls a lot. She helps them understand just the little things, you know. And I'm not very vocal on the court. I'm just kind of like doing my own thing. So it's good to have a leader in her, and then a leader in Mikaela Can as well. And then just all of our older group, we stick together, you know, we're on the same page. So it's awesome. Now,
of course, both you and Mikaela have a pretty similar pathway in regards to you both played obviously the full amount of college year seasons before back to Australia. Special is that. And number two, what have you taught the young kids for their dreams to hopefully do something similar?
Yeah, it's just been awesome being able to come back, go overseas, experience college and all of that, come back to where I grew up playing basketball and still be in a high-level program, playing well. We're winning, obviously, and then the other opportunities in WNBL and stuff like that. It's all just really exciting, and I'm blessed to be able to have those opportunities. And with the young girls, a lot of them do have college aspirations. 3 of them have actually left this year and gone to college. So I just encourage them, you know, take advantage of every opportunity you have, whether it be college, whether, you know, it's a junior college or NAIA, Div 1, Div 2, you know, it's still an opportunity for you to learn and grow as a person and as a player. And unfortunately in Australia, there's only, you know, once the state league's done, you either play in the national league or you don't do anything until the next season. So it's good for them where they can kind of bridge that gap to the professional level and still learn more, still, you know, you get a free education, all of that. So I encourage them 100% to take advantage of every opportunity that basketball presents to you.
Now, you mentioned about the 3 players that's already gone to college. You might as well tell us, if you do remember them, who they are.
Taia, she went to Oklahoma State. We have Ula Sugar at Washington State, and Hazel Fui is junior as well. She is at a Division II in Nebraska. So those 3 have left about 3-4 weeks ago now.
All those players. Are you hoping to maybe get them back in time for NBL 1 next year?
Hopefully, if everything works out, it'll be awesome to have them. That'll just make our team even deeper than it already is.
A bit about the younger kids in the team. Now, I know when I spoke to Mikaela as well on the show, of course, she mentioned that they can sometimes be a little bit inconsistent in regards to, you know, their attention span at times during games. But I have to ask, tell us a couple of the young players in the team we should watch out for in the future out there at Logan.
All of them, honestly. You've got a little shooting guard in Danny Bays. She's amazing. She can score the ball. You know, she is smart, but like Mikaela said, just those lapses sometimes. They overthink, I think, and kind of get into their own head, and that happens. And, you know, a lot of that is like emotional maturity as well, which comes with the more you play, the more you're in those situations and experiences. You know, you grow from it, you learn from it. So definitely Danny Bays is on the radar. The twins, we have twins, Lisa and Mary Karasoma. They are big, solid. They can score, they can defend. You know, there's just so much potential in those girls, and I encourage them to go to college because, you know, they'll get the right training, they'll get the strength and conditioning side of everything. They'll develop into their bodies and then figure out how to use their bodies, you know, just using their size and their smarts, and then learning everything, because it is a different style of game over in the US compared to like FIBA and European rules, but it makes you better as a player to be able to go over there, play against those girls, learn a different style of basketball, and then come back, and translate it into this game.
Now for you, Ash, how did you get involved in basketball and why did you choose it?
So when my family moved to Logan 20 odd years ago, they opened up Cornubia Park Sports Centre, which is our home ground where we play at Logan basketball. And they opened, had tryouts for basketball. So my parents took me and my two brothers down there, and we pretty much just got into it and stayed in it and stuck with it since then.
Now, of course, we mentioned about your college career at the moment. Obviously, you played at Indiana State for 4 seasons or 5 seasons?
I did 3 at Indiana and 1 year at junior college.
Oh, that's right, you did too.
Yeah.
Of course, let's talk a bit about Indiana State in particular. I guess, is there a particular game that stands out to you the most when you're at Indiana State?
My senior year, we went to the Cancun Challenge in Mexico, Cancun, obviously, and we played South Dakota. And it was a really good game. They were really high-ranked, high Div 1. We're kind of mid-major, low-level. We weren't picked to win, obviously, and we didn't win, but we had played the best game. It was close the whole time. Everybody was playing well. Everybody was defending well. I think we ended up losing by like 2 or 3 points on like a buzzer beater, one of those ridiculous, unfortunate shots. But it was so awesome to be a part of that team and go up against, a high-level D1 and play our best. And I had a good shooting night. I played well defensively, and it was a really good memory.
Now, do you still stay in contact with any of your former Indiana State teammates? And also, second part of that question, is there one particular player that you enjoy playing alongside with throughout your 3 years at Terre Haute?
Yeah, I do. 2 or 3 of them I still keep in contact with often. We reach out and talk and, what's going on your side of the world, what's going on over here, stuff like that. But my favorite player they're playing with was Tierra Webb. So she was a little small shooting guard that I played with. We studied the same thing as well, so we were in the same classes. And she just helped me on and off the court. I was going through a lot of things, being away from home and having a teammate in my classes and, seeing her around campus all the time. She made me feel comfortable, made me feel at home, and she was an awesome, played well on the court together. She was the other guard, so we were, on either wings, and kind of, it just worked out. It was a good dynamic. Now,
of course, when everyone thinks of Indiana State, of course, they think about the legendary Larry Bird, who played there at Indiana State. I guess, for everyone out there, especially here in Australia, that don't understand college basketball, especially basketball in the States, obviously Indiana is one of the most famous for its basketball, and the community comes out there to support their team, especially at college level. Tell us a bit about your experience being there at Indiana, and especially at Terre Haute.
Yeah, so Indiana is really big basketball culture. Even the high schools get 300, 400, 500 people at their games, just because they're so invested in the basketball community. And at Indiana State, we probably averaged about 400, 500 fans to our games, which is amazing. And, they really care about the athletes. They don't just want us to win. They invest in us personally as people, as humans, as, student athletes at college. And so that was the best part about it for me was, they were fans, but they were also friends, and they would have us over for dinner, and, they would just, they love supporting us on the court as well as off the court. And I think that was huge for me as well. And that goes for, every other school in Indiana. There's obviously IU and Butler and all those big schools, and they get huge crowds to their games and their support. And you could just tell, in Indiana, they love their basketball.
Now, you mentioned about, I guess, the community feel, and especially, for you to, and obviously your teammates to get a chance to, chill out with the fans and the community of Indiana State, especially obviously the community around Terre Haute. Do you miss that?
I do. I definitely do. And I still actually, there was a few of they call it the Booster Club. So it's just like our main supporters, fans, and, I had gotten really close with 2 or 3 of them, and still to this day they reach out and talk to me and say whenever the world opens up again, we'll come visit you, and we'll catch up again. And so just those relationships that I made, they were a big part of my life for 3-4 years. So it's definitely something I miss, and I wish I could go back there and see all those people and go back to the school on alumni day and stuff like that. But it's probably not this year or even next year, anytime soon.
I feel the same thing when I wish I could be in the States as well, but that's not going to happen this year either.
Yeah.
But I guess for you, what does the sport of basketball mean to you now, especially playing there at Logan?
Yeah, it's everything to me, honestly. Like with my job, what I do now, I'm a personal trainer, a sports performance and skills coach. So I do that. All of my clients are Logan kids. So it means a lot for me to be able to come from there and grow up doing all the same things that I'm doing now, and I'm giving back to the same kids. I'm doing the same drills I was doing with them. It's everything. Like, I love it. I'm there every day of the week, 3, 4, 5 hours a day. I have a casual job there, so I work at the stadium. It's an amazing community to be a part of, and it's like a family. Like, we are called, we call each other the Thunder family, the Logan family, and it feels like one. And you also have like literally lots of families in there, brothers, sisters, mums, dads, they all play at Logan. They've gone through the ranks. So it's really awesome that, that loyalty is still there, and it's been there since we first joined up. And I love being able to give back and, see how it's still evolving, and it's still going to, in 10, 20 years, it'll be even crazier, even bigger, and it's exciting to be a part of that. And I'm, I want to give back more. I want to open up my own gym, and I want to, I have so many ideas, and it's awesome to be a part of that.
And do you have any future ambitions now in the sport of basketball going forward?
I do. I'm trying to play professionally overseas in Europe. My goals were WNBL, which I made a WNBL team, didn't play much, obviously, my first year. And then last year, didn't get another shot. But, I'm working hard, I'm playing well. I just, all I can do is keep working, hope for the best. Hopefully someone picks me up. And then I can hopefully want to play 3-4 years over there while I'm still young, while I'm still healthy, and then travel a little bit more with it as well. But yeah, ultimately, just what I'm doing now is what I want to be doing forever: coaching, being involved in basketball, giving back. And then with the personal training and strength and conditioning side, like, that's what I like to do. I like the skills and the sports performance. And, I want to, like I said, I want to open my own gym and then kind of tie that into Logan. So we have our Logan kids getting in the weight room and getting them prepared for college, or, nationals or AAS or whatever they need to be prepared for. That's something that I want to do and give back to the community at Logan.
Now, what will be your advice to our listeners or viewers in Queensland that should get involved in basketball?
My advice would be, go ahead and do it. It's a lot of fun. It's good for, obviously, your fitness, like your social life. Like, there's just so many benefits. The only down part is that you might get injured, but you could get injured in any sport. You could get injured walking down the street and roll your ankle. Like, there aren't any negatives to joining basketball. And I think especially at Logan, like, we have an amazing community of people involved, people invested, coaches, people like me that want to give back and help, and, help the development of everyone. And so I think go ahead and join. Basketball is way better than netball. Had to throw that there.
Yes. Now, of course, a question I forgot to ask you about, which is, tell us a bit about your Logan coach, Braden, and how special is to play under him as coach.
Yeah, Braden, he's a really good coach. He is a young coach, and I think a lot of people kind of, they're not sure about him, and they ask me all the time, like, how is he as a coach? But he's really good, and because he is young, he can relate to us, I think, a bit more, and he respects us a bit more with our opinions. And obviously we have myself, Mikaela Ruef, Michaela Can, Shavana, and Cassie Smith that's 5, ex or WNBL players. So we've got like high caliber players that kind of can coach on the floor, but off the floor, he handles everything well. He manages everyone well. He's got a great personality. He's got a great basketball mind, and he's fun. Practice is enjoyable. We have a beer after the game with him. Like he's been a really great fit for our team and our program as well at Logan. He's head of the basketball development and stuff like that, and he's doing a really good job.
Now let's finish up with a couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates. Now let's see if we can duplicate the same thing what Mikaela said a bit earlier.
Yeah.
The most embarrassing moment on the court this season, and what was it?
I think one of my team, Alana. So she got a steal, had a wide open layup, misses her layup. 2 of our teammates are behind. If get the miss, get the rebound, put it back in. One of my teammates, Danny, got the miss from the putback, went to go up again. Alana turned around and blocks her own teammate. And then, ended up getting the possession, going down and scoring. So it was pretty hilarious, pretty embarrassing, I would say.
I'll tell you what, I'd love to know what the stats people would have got that down as.
At a turnover, I don't know. It was funny.
Now, who's the comedian in the team?
Comedian in the team. I don't know. We're all pretty funny. We're all pretty. I would say Ruef. Ruef makes me laugh the most.
Oh, well, she did mention that. All right, might have to catch you on that one. Now, who's the best singer and dancer in the team?
Dancer, one of our juniors, Maya. She is TikTok famous. And singer, the twins. The twins actually sing. They sing at church and stuff like that. So they're definitely by far the best.
Now, I'm sure there's a pump-up song before a game to hype the team up. Who runs that playlist? I'm sure that's you based off Mikaela's answer. And now, What's the worst song on it?
It's not a specific playlist. I just, whatever we're feeling, I kind of go through and change the songs. But we do listen to a Beyonce song that Mikaela really likes. And that kind of, it's a sing-along song.
Yeah, she did mention about her taste in music that doesn't favour around the team at the moment. So yes,
yeah, like all that. Oh, she's old. She likes listening to music in the 90s.
Now I have to ask this question. Now you mentioned about embarrassing moments, and now of course one of Mikaela's answers was Clara's one where she got her ankles broken by one of her teammates at training.
Training, yes.
Tell us a bit about that. And did you actually see it? Because she mentioned she didn't see it because she was up the other end of the court. No,
I didn't see it either. I must have been down the other end with Mikaela, but the way they were telling us the story, it was just like, Carla, come on. I don't know. She couldn't move her feet. It just, the jab happened, and then 1, 2, the reaction happened, and then she kind of just fell over, and it was, I didn't see it, but it sounded hilarious.
Has any of her teammates given her flat for that? I know Mikaela's mentioned she has.
Yeah, we do, but she just, she takes it lightheartedly, brushes it off.
Well, Ash, thank you so much for getting up in time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show. Finally, it's been so long. It's been 4 years since we last had you on the show, and it's good to have you back, and hopefully we'll get you back on the show again sometime, hopefully towards the end of the year, hopefully with a talk a bit about a championship, hopefully down there at Logan.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much for having me. It was fun.
No worries. And that's Ash there, joins us from the Logan Thunder. Of course, make sure you get down to Runaway Bay down on the Gold Coast and see them play against North Gold Coast Seahawks this weekend. Of course, we'll put all the details up on how you can go about supporting the Thunder in 2020 season. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on Lockdown Tuesday.